Hi there, my name is Dr. Marcia Kimeldorf. I am the Director of Clinical Services at the Center for Anxiety. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a skill that I think is really great, that anybody can benefit from learning. It's a skill for helping you figure out the best way to get your own needs met, to reach a particular objective, to communicate something that you really want for another person to do for you, or to be able to say no effectively. So, this skill can be remembered with an acronym that's helpful. The acronym is Dear Man. I will first explain what each of those letters stands for, and then I can go through them individually and explain a little bit more about how you can use these different steps in order to help you achieve your goals. So D stands for describe, E for express, A for assert, R for reinforce, M for stay mindful, A for appear confident, and N for negotiate. Now let's go through what each of those means in a little bit more detail and how to do it. Okay, the first skill is describe. Describe means what it sounds like. You're going to say what the situation is using only the facts, sticking to the facts, avoiding your opinions, avoiding any interpretations or accusations. So here are a couple of examples. You could say, let's say you're trying to get a raise. You could say, I have realized that I have been working here for 2 years and have been doing a really good job and getting positive reviews, and I have not gotten a raise in the last 2 years. So you see in that example, I did not say, you haven't given me a raise, it's not fair, I'm angry. All I did was state the facts of the situation. Another example might be, I've noticed that although we agreed on a 10 o'clock curfew, I've been noticing you coming home between 10:30 and 11 every day for the last week. So again, you see that's just the facts. Okay, so that's what this describe skill is. The first part is to just describe what you have noticed happening. Now we're up to E, express. When you express, you are saying your opinions about the situation or how you feel. You want to avoid saying, you make me angry or you do things, but rather focus on yourself and how you're feeling and what you need. So you might say something like, I feel angry when you walk away when I'm talking to you. Or I feel confident in my work and believe I have done a really good job and that I deserve a raise. Or any such thing where you make sure that you keep it on I statements and you talk about how you feel in a way that's very hard for another person to argue with, right? So just brief little side point. If I were to say instead, you're a jerk for walking away from me when I'm trying to talk to you, the other person is going to argue with you, right? But if you just say, I feel really upset when I'm trying to have a conversation with you and you walk away, you're keeping it on how you feel. You're not labeling or telling the other person, calling them a name or telling them what they've done wrong. So that's how we do express. You say very clearly how you feel, or what you want or what you need. Now that you have clearly described the situation, using just the facts, and expressed what it is that you are feeling, your opinions, now it's time to go to the A skill, which is assert. When you assert, you are saying what you want, or you are saying no, as the case may be, clearly, either way. So, if you're saying what you want, you say it straightforward without a lot of hemming and hawing, just clearly. I would like a raise, for example, or I would like you to sit at the table until this conversation is over. Nice and clear what it is that you want. The fourth skill in Dear Man is reinforce. Reinforce is very important because it helps the other person see what's in it for them if they give you what you want. So, people are pretty motivated by positive consequences. So if they realize there's something good in it for them, they're much more likely to give you what you want. So for example, with the asking for a raise scenario, if you said something like, if you can do this for me, I believe you will see that I'm even more productive when I feel valued and that my worth at this company is being respected. Or with the curfew example, you could say, if you're able to make it home every day by curfew for the next week, that will show me that you're a little more responsible and that will make me more likely to be able to give you a later curfew in the future. You see how in both of those examples, you were telling the other person what's in it for them to give you what you want. Don't forget that step. It's really important. The next Dear Man skill is the M, which stands for stay mindful. Basically, you need to keep your message in your mind and stick with it. So if you are making a point and the other person wants to change the subject or get you off track, you just repeat yourself like a broken record. You can even use the same words you've already used. There's no need to come up with a whole new way to say it. You just repeat yourself. You can even redo your describe, express, and assert and reinforce if you need to. Do not let the other person distract you from your goal in the conversation. The second thing to do in the be mindful is to ignore attacks or distractions of any kind. So when they try to say, oh, this happened, or why are you bringing this up when we have something else to talk about, you can address, acknowledge what they're saying and say, but you know what, for right now, I'd really like us to just stay with this and then we can talk about that later. And do not let the distractions take you away from your point. The next skill in Dear Man is the A for appear confident. Now remember, I did not say just be confident, because sometimes it's kind of asking for something important to you or saying no to a difficult thing to say no to can make you very anxious. And that is okay, but the goal is to appear confident, which I am now trying to model for you. So you want to have a confident body language, confident posture, confident tone of voice, and maintain good eye contact, right? So if I am asking for something, but then I sort of say with my shoulders hunched over, well, I mean, if you can, or I don't know, I'm not conveying that same confidence, right? So it's very important that you sit up straight, that you look at the person you're talking to in the eye, and that you maintain a confident tone of voice. No stammering, no whispering, no saying whatever and looking away. You got to keep up that contact to make it very much more likely that you will get what you want or be able to say no effectively. The last Dear Man skill is negotiate. So stated another way, that basically means be willing to give to get. In an ideal world, perhaps we would just be granted every request that we make the first time around without needing to negotiate, or that people would accept your saying no the first time without you needing to negotiate. But in real life, it doesn't always happen that way. So we need to be willing to give to get. And that means either be willing to lower the amount or frequency of your request, or to be able to be a little bit flexible and see how the request could work for the other person. You can ask them questions at this point, like, well, what do you think would be a reasonable way to handle this? Or, well, I'm telling you what it is that I want, and this doesn't seem to be working well for you, so what's a reasonable compromise? When you're willing to give to get, when you're willing to negotiate with the other person, you're also really communicating, this is a problem that I want us to be able to solve together. You're not just stubbornly, bossily, arrogantly assuming that you deserve everything you want exactly the way you want it. You're recognizing the other person is a human being too, and they may have their own needs. So negotiation is a very, very important part of using the Dear Man skill to say no effectively or to get what you want.